On this episode of Deep Thrones, we review House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 3, Rhaenyra Triumphant. We watch as Queen Rhaenyra finally begins her reign over Westeros. We question Queen Rhaenyra as she spurns Corlys Velaryon, and we all enjoy a rat feast with the capital's 1%, plus many more hilarious segments. Winter is here.
Death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots, hitting bricks.
Welcome to Deep Thrones, the most entertaining podcast in the world of Ice and Fire. I'm your host, Sims. Your other host, Sheedy, is here. What's up, Sheeds?
How's everybody doing? Happy delayed podcast day.
We're a day late, but we're not $1 short because this episode's brought to you by Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver's the best. Oh my god, dude. Long John Silver's. There used to be a Long John Silver. We're going to get into this to start. There used to be a Long John Silver's A&W mega restaurant.
Oh yeah, the combos.
But of all of the combos, isn't that a very weird one?
Well, you get your root beer, you get your flounder, and you just smash them together.
It's just a very gross. This
is our sponsor.
Tartar sauce and an A&W root beer.
By gross, he meant grossly fantastic.
Grossly fantastic, yeah. This is Long John Silver's in Circuit City. That's like, it was all those companies that kind of are not around anymore. I
mean, Circuit City is definitely not around anymore. Long John Silver's, our sponsor, is very much around.
We do apologize for the delay.
We do. Actually, and I do owe part of an explanation.
You don't know anything.
So we went traveling. My family did a fabulous trip last week, and if you don't remember from our last episode, I talked about, overrated things in summer, and traveling with kids being one of those. I proved myself wrong. It was an amazing trip. Our kids were awesome throughout.
Not our kids.
Not our kids. Me and my wife's children, the Sims family. And on the way back, because of all the storms over the weekend, there was a lot of cancellations. Our flight was one of them. We had to book a hotel. It was a whole mess. We still have a bag missing that was checked and just never made it back. So, yeah, it's been wild. So sorry we're a day late.
God, that's so sorry to hear that. Anytime your flight's delayed, I don't care how long it is, it's annoying.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It was over 24 hours, but we ended up booking with another airline on the way home, so it ended up being like 12 hours.
I'm one of those people too. Like, I'll see like when my flight's boarding and I'm at the gate, and I'll be staring out, and like the plane is not at the thing yet, and I'm like, hey, it ain't happening.
The taxiing.
It ain't happening. I don't see. I'm like a dog. I'm like drooling on the window, just waiting for the. I don't know why I'd be drooling, but you get the point. But you're here now. What's going on in the world? What's worth talking about before we get into this episode?
Well, our fans joining us visually will see the USA team gear. You got some red, white, and blue on.
I got some red, white, and blue.
So we are representing for our country that plays tonight.
France. I'm kidding, but it's just, I was talking about this the other day. There's so many red, white, and blue flags.
Yeah, there's a ton.
A ton of them. Australia?
I'm
pretty sure their flag is red, white, and blue.
They play in yellow and green, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure England's is red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
But we're talking, of course, about the U.S. in FIFA World Cup.
We're talking about the U.S. They're playing Belgium tonight. Just finished up watching the Portugal and Spain game. Portugal edged out, ended Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup career. But, Team USA tonight. Hopefully tomorrow when you're listening to this, we have a W and we're going on to the round of 16.
That'd be awesome. And that would be pretty historic for the U.S., right?
Is that beyond the round of 16?
I think it'd be the final 8, which would be historic for us.
That'd be insane, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the U.S. has ever made... I think I've been reading that we technically went far in, the 1930 World Cup, but that was, a sham, kind of. There wasn't a lot of countries involved. They were playing in, deep inches of snow. It kind of was like an early days World Cup that no one considers the real World Cup. And the U.S., of course, has never really been a soccer powerhouse.
No.
Or football is
male soccer powerhouse. Women's dominate.
Women's soccer has been, those Alex Morgan, Hope Solo days. Those guys were dominant for sure. And now Trinity Rodman's a badass. Of course, the daughter of Dennis Rodman. God, amazing.
Chicago heroes. But hopefully this World Cup isn't marred by a red card.
controversies.
situation. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, that was all the rave this week. Everyone talked about it. Flo Balogun, is that his
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
If he'd be able to play, and he is. So let's hope he scores a couple goals tonight, and the U.S. advances.
Awesome.
Speaking of advancing, Rhaenyra Targaryen.
She advanced to her throne. She got back. Excited to dive into this one. I loved this episode.
He did. I liked this episode,
Okay.
but we're going to get into that right now. This was House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 3, titled Rhaenyra Triumphant.
Rhaenyra Triumphant.
Dumb title. Stupid title. Overrated title. Jace is dead. All right.
Jesus,
We open.
dude.
We
My
get
sweet prince.
We get a cold open, which we have only gotten one other time in House of the Dragon, and that was the first ever episode when we saw the Great Council of 101. And it is Daemon meeting with Ormond Hightower's host, demanding some things.
Yeah, this was our second view of Ormond Hightower this season, and he seems to be back cold and calculating, shrewd. He seemed way too cool with what Daemon was asking, which was, of course, he was demanding the Hightower host surrender. He was demanding them to put down their arms for the rest of the war, even though Aemond and their cause is still like very much alive.
Aegon's not even dead.
Aegon's not dead. I don't know. Do they know that though?
No.
Yeah, I don't think they.
I don't think Ormond cares.
Yeah. So Daemon's making this demand, and he demands that Darren be handed over, which of course is Alicent's third son and potential future heir to the Iron Throne.
Yeah, Daemon, of course, is joined by Hugh Hammer and Ulf White, so he has a host of dragons. Ormond's host is all, foot soldiers, but they also have Tessarion, the Blue Queen, which is Darren's dragon. Ormond's host is large. It seems very organized. He seems like a very calculated leader. Daemon even kind of says to Ormond, like, just bend the knee or we'll kill you right now. He turns to Ulf and he goes, Ulf, how would you like to be Lord of Old Town? And Ulf is kind of like, so I liked that. I thought that was very cool. And you're right. He then demands that Darren be handed over. And I think it's time I address the elephant in the room that I have been calling him Daron.
Okay.
I thought the show would call him Daron because that seems to really go with the world. They're just calling him Darren.
Yeah, the Targaryen names are always a little interesting. Like, is it Aegon? Is it Aegon?
Yeah.
There's
Maekar was a tough one where,
Yeah.
like, the fans were debating what...
Maekar,
Yeah.
Maker. So, yeah, the Targaryen names, I think it's up to whoever really says it, honestly.
I'm going to keep ripping Daron.
Yeah,
I
go
like
for it.
Daron.
Yeah, well, this was a blonde-haired Darren that was presented to Daemon, and it was very, very chill. Like, the fact that Ormond would just be like, yeah, sure, whatever, was a little fishy to begin with.
And they kind of lucked out that Daemon wasn't like, all right, thanks, sorry, kid, now hop on your dragon, let's go.
Yeah, luck is one way to put it. I have some thoughts on this, and we'll talk about this as we kind of wrap up the episode at the end of these scenes reviews, but this was one area where it's like, okay, either they intentionally wrote it like this, and Daemon was just, lustfully arrogant in their victory, thinking that, the Ormonds, or the Hightowers were just going to surrender.
Yeah.
Or this was just, like, poorly written, and Daemon just somehow forgot about Tessarion, the Blue Queen.
He was just like, you can keep the dragon.
Yeah.
You can keep the nuke. I guess maybe he figured without a rider, like, who cares? Like, because it's bonded to... But they've just proven that dragon seeds exist, and, like... Yeah, this was a lapse in... Listen, the writers probably did it because they realized it would be difficult for what they wanted to achieve in this episode, which, again, you never want to do. But... in world, we just have to assume Daemon's a raging fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think on the other side of the coin, it's like Daemon has never really ruled before, and we'll talk about some of those repercussions when it comes to Rhaenyra and her court.
Definitely.
When you look at like an Otto Hightower in contrast, like that's something that would never ever slip that character's mind. And say what you want about the Ottos, the Tywin Lannisters of the world, like they knew exactly every single angle that was planned out before it was ever executed.
100%.
And I think there's a viewpoint that you could take here that Daemon was just so excited and just like so lustful in victory that, hey, I'm here to collect the heir to the potential heir to the throne and to collect their surrender, and then I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, no, well said. I think that he even said, oh, one more thing. Like,
Yeah.
Ormond was walking away after he knelt, and he's like, just one more thing. Hand over Daron. So there is a level of, like, you're right, I think Daemon
Cockiness
sometimes...
almost.
Yeah, he's a little, kind of disorganized, a little big for his britches. From there, we get the music. The music hits. Cold open over. Rhaenyra is having a moment in Viserys' chambers. Daemon sort of says, we have Daeron. We have business to attend to. Now's the time that you begin to rule. But Rhaenyra definitely has a moment of this is her first week as queen.
This is where I think Rhaenyra becomes even more relatable to an average viewer of just the anxieties. Imagine the Sunday scaries and you have to rule King's Landing and the Seven Kingdoms.
She's got the Sunday scaries.
Yeah,
that's great.
And you got rats everywhere. You got literal ghosts popping up in your mind, you're seeing ghosts.
Dude, she is. She had a rough episode. I think it was like an episode of The Bear.
Yeah.
It was an episode of The Bear.
Pressure
Carmy just got a bunch of orders, but Carmy is also the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and Cuz is fucking shit up. And keeps asking her to legitimize his children. So from there, Rhaenyra has a quick scene meeting Daeron. Nothing special there. We go to a small council meeting, and they learn that they're broke. They got no gold. Tywin Lannister, which the fact they name drop Tywin makes me believe he's not dead after the Battle of the Gullet. He's missing after the Battle of the Gullet. And he, on Otto's command, moved all the gold out of King's Landing. So their coffers are essentially bone dry.
Smart move. We talked about Otto Hightower and his effect of planning things 6 steps ahead, and you see it played out here. As soon as Rhaenyra gets on the throne, she's met with problems and issues that she didn't have as a challenger. So we see it play out through the rest of this episode.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of infighting in her council. None of them get along.
But she doesn't also really have a council, though.
No, it's like Daemon, Mysaria, and Corlys.
She just threw it together. She left what council she did have on Dragonstone.
Yeah, and Orwyle is helping them, of course, because again, the Maester technically serves the castle. They don't serve. I mean, in that scenario, I think he kind of has to lose his head, but technically Maester Pycelle did serve the Mad King, and even though he helped overthrow the Mad King, he was Robert's Maester as well. So there is a precedent for Maester serves the castle, not the person. So yeah. I guess it makes sense that Orwyle's head remains.
And she did have history with him from when she grew up too. So
true, yeah. Being queen, I wrote, doesn't seem fun. Rhaenyra is on the throne, sort of answering petitions, and she's kind of gets one person comes up and talks about how the poor are being screwed over. So Rhaenyra's I'm just going to demand tributes from the great houses to send money to me.
Yeah, awful idea. And when you're a challenger and you get on the throne, even though you technically were the rightful heir according to half of the Seven Kingdoms, you still have to realize that your legitimacy or your security is going to come from the noble houses and their support.
100%.
And for you to, that's your first move as you get on the Iron Throne, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I need money. Yo, I'm broke. Yeah, she takes over it immediately, because you think of it this way, if the noble houses were Aegon wasn't asking for money kind of thing, and you're right, that organization of Otto sort of shielded the Greens from a lot of this that Rhaenyra is now facing. And this episode really, I watched The House That the Dragons Built, whatever it's called, and they really said they wanted this to feel like a Rhaenyra POV episode, where it's just stress, and it's, again, heavy lies the crown. You want it so bad. Well, how bad do you want it now, kind of thing.
I think they hit that on the head, and there was a scene in this episode, and I'm sure we'll get to it shortly here, but Rhaenyra asks, what would my father do? Or someone asks her, what would your father do? And the real answer is, what would Otto Hightower do? Yeah. Because Viserys didn't really do much other than just throw feasts and parties and all the happy stuff. But, the whole reason he was able to have that level of security and money and well-being was because of the shrewd decision-making of Otto Hightower.
Yeah. What would Viserys do? I don't know. Leprosy? Rhaenyra breaks, pushes into Alicent and Helena's room and is where's the gold? Where's the money at? She's where's my fucking money? Where's my and of course Alicent was those men kind of undercut me every chance that they got. I don't know where the money is. I would assume Tywin Lannister knows. She's you could ask Otto. She kind of says it almost jokingly, my father probably knew. And a lot of things done in haste by Rhaenyra's side.
Yeah, not much to add on to that scene.
No, and Helena has a cute little scene where she asks about Jace, and then even Alicent's don't we get to flee? That was part of our deal. And Rhaenyra's until Aemon is dead, no.
Yeah, And is this the scene also where Helena kind of is like, I don't think I can stay in here too much longer.
Yeah.
Just like, and Allison kind of looks over like, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Allison was kind of like, we're not doing this by choice. Rhaenyra is like, yeah, buddy, tough, you know? Imagine that. That would be my appeal if I was ever in prison. I don't think I could do this much longer. I'm not enjoying this. Rhaenyra, again, talks to Myceria. While she's talking to Myceria just about the state of things, she sees a young man who looks like Chase, and she has like a tunnel vision moment, like a Saving Private Ryan moment. She's back in the cush.
She's seeing ghosts. I think the pressure is starting to cave in all around her, like we talked about. And up to this point, she's handling it okay, but it's starting to cave in for sure.
Yeah, and she meets with a Septon and says, like, listen, I want to be crowned and anointed. And the Septon's like, well, first off, Aegon's not. We don't know that Aegon's dead. We already anointed him. Like, it would make the gods look wrong if we were to flip flop. And I think that me and Chris sometimes maybe we would need another opinion on this because we bang this drum so much. But it's like at a certain point, you have to flex your muscles.
Yes.
I would have grabbed the Septon by his throat and said, would you like to meet Cyrax?
Yeah.
I would love to introduce you to my god. It's a big gold dragon and it's hungry. Like, just get what you want. You're the monarch. And he's not going to talk. And if he's going to talk, have him anoint you and then feed him to Cyrax anyways. I'd be like, we don't know where he went.
Yeah. Honestly, you control the narrative as the throne. And here, I literally had in my notes, I was like, put his ass to the questioning. If he doesn't want to do it, torture him, make him say it. People will say a lot of things if you start plucking their fingernails off. You know?
Yeah, that's that Ramsay style of interrogation.
Exactly.
You look at Tywin Lannister and what he did with the Freys and with the Boltons. Technically, like in the lore, everyone knows Tywin was the mastermind behind that. But the Freys take all the blame for him. They were the ones that had the Starks in their house and killed them after giving them meat and wine, right? Which is a great sin in Westeros. Mm-hmm. But Tywin was able to mastermind that, and to the point where Walder Frey doesn't even care that that's a great sin in Westeros. He says, okay, sure. Mm-hmm. You can't get one little Septon to anoint you? Then guess what? Who's the Septon in waiting? Tell him, do you want to be main Septon? Because this guy's about to fall down the stairs. He's going to trip over a rat. And Cyrax is going to eat it.
I think there is something to be said about Rhaenyra's constant.
She got Viserys' heart.
She has Viserys' heart, and even more so, she just like is obsessed with the small folk. Like the Septon mentions, the gods would think poorly on this, and that would kind of trickle down to people and what they think of your rule.
Right.
And Rhaenyra's caring about that more so than she cares about, like, I'm going to get what I need from this Septon, who's a nobody in my eyes, really. Yeah. I think it's a theme that we see throughout this episode that adds to a long list of blunders that we see in this episode.
Yeah. Emma Darcy said that the theme of the episode across the board for not just their character, but every character is legitimacy. And we're going to get into that right now with family dinner. Rhaenyra has a nice family dinner with Corlys and his two bastard sons, Adam and Alan of Hull. And Corlys says to Rhaenyra, you might not know this, but I am, their father. Luke, I am your father. He does that whole thing. And then he says to her, like, I got Rhaenys' blessing multiple times, even though I was too ashamed to admit it. I would like to legitimize them. And you as the monarch, please make it official. And Rhaenyra kind of just ignores it.
Yeah, she gets super uncomfortable, almost squirming in her seat. Corlys, I think, is a little bit confused as to why that's the case. And quite frankly, and we talked about this in pre-production here, I was a little bit confused because I thought that if you were a lord of, a noble house, that you have that right to be able to pass along and legitimize your name.
Without the monarch's approval.
Yeah, without the throne's approval.
It's like a DMV thing. He's got to get the paperwork filed. Yeah.
I could see like a little, obviously it would add extra legitimacy to it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a different timing thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I will say my thing on this is, and we'll get into it as we discuss the episode at the end, was like, why the fuck does she care? Just do it. Just make him happy. And we'll get into it because another scene happens where it becomes a bigger deal. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Corlys has had probably 30 years to do this. And day one, day one he's pulling up with it. That part I do acknowledge is a little like, buddy, come on, just day one. You could have asked Viserys at any point, and Viserys would have happily done it.
Well, but Adam and Alan hadn't earned his.
True.
And also, not everyone in his family was dead either.
That's true. And whose fault is that? Rhaenyra. Again, so Rhaenyra then is walking through the halls at night. It's a very thematic episode. Again, we are with Rhaenyra through everything, either walking away from her or walking toward her, her POV, never another person's POV. Baela rolls up. Rhaenyra walks right past her. Clearly has still some beef over the gullet of Baela's participation in the gullet and Jace's death. And then she goes to bed with Daemon, and it's just kind of a scene of her trying to get some sleep.
I interpreted that scene as it was a ghost of Daemon's old wife that walked by.
Was it? I thought it was Baela.
I don't know. I have to double check. I was watching on my phone.
Deep Thrones controversy.
Someone messaged us and confirmed that. But
yeah.
I thought that she was seeing more ghosts.
You're watching it on your phone?
Yeah.
Just as the showmakers intended.
I mean, travel problems.
That's true.
Come on.
Everything boils down to everything to this flight getting delayed. It's like, Chris, you haven't done your taxes. It's fucking Delta, dude. Take it up with Delta.
File a claim.
Rhaenyra goes out to see the small folk. She has a bunch of bread, and she does like a night, and the folks are happy. Again, Rhaenyra, the show doesn't really get into it, but Rhaenyra was known as the realm's delight for a long time. Like the small folk did, I think, like the idea of Rhaenyra for a long time. Maybe that was pre-Aegon, but and she just gives them a lot of bread.
Was that after the rat feast scene?
It might be. I might be.
That was so.
That's coming out. I still have that.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
Yeah,
but then there's also a small council discussion about the small folk. And this is where Rhaenyra sort of starts to get mad at everyone. She even asks Corlys what he would do, and he says, I just defer to the queen. Great hand of the king move. Culpable deniability. Yeah. Playing both sides. Can never be wrong if you never give advice. He's pissed.
He's pissed.
Feels like he was ignored the other day. And, he hasn't said it yet, but he also is like, I've done a fucking lot. I've done an awful lot.
Yes.
My boats are gone.
My boats are gone.
My children are gone.
He's gonna let loose in the scene soon here, but... Again, added to the list of blunders by Rhaenyra. Prideful man, and not really asking for much. And just being denied.
Not asking for much at all.
No.
It's really just a stroke of the pen. Mm-hmm. It's some legalese, it's paperwork. Rhaenyra, Rhaenyra's like, we already got the letterhead printed. And it's just, we don't have the money. Kinko's is out of control. So we don't have the money to change it right now. Like, next quarter, no problem. Her and Daemon knight the dragon seeds. And this is when it was clear that Adam was not legitimized because she calls him Adam of Hall. Ulf goes by Ulf the White, and Hugh goes by Hugh the Hammer. It's a really unceremonious knighting. They're kind of just doing it flippantly. And I think this, again, emphasizes it's about legitimacy, but it's also Daemon and Rhaenyra aren't ruling well.
No.
Almost disrespectful to the three guys who you're trusting these nuclear weapons with.
It's short-sighted because you're giving nuclear weapons to people who you just assume are going to be loyal to you because you have a certain name or a certain claim.
Soviet Union and Cuba.
Sure. And that's totally short-sighted because later on in the scene, Hugh Hammer walks up and inquires again about, hey, you kind of promised these living quarters to me and my family, and you've waited so long that my wife already took off to Tumbleton. And then Rhaenyra's like, well, could you just, wait a little longer?
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier to Corlys, next quarter is supposed to be way better. So
yeah, we're going to get that money. We're going to get that money flowing in.
And, Hugh Hammer has the second largest dragon in the Seven Kingdoms.
She's like, buddy, Series B is coming up. And let me tell you, you're going to want to be... Yeah, you gave him the second largest dragon, but also, if I was a dragon seed, I'd be like, you want me to kill Vhagar?
Yeah.
What's the salary? What are the bennies?
Yes.
What are you talking? We get pet insurance? Do I get life and disability?
And again, we understand there's no gold in the coffers. He's asking for property. And you as the crown can roll up and just be like, hey, turns out we need to evict you real quick because this guy has a dragon.
There were probably a ton of green loyalists in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Kick them out.
Property, yep.
Take their property. It's again, this is ruthless. We're obviously speaking about this from two folks who have read this world so well that we could probably... like almost like it's U.S. history. We could tell you Westeros history. There's a precedent for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're treasonous, you lose oftentimes your head, but definitely your property, your money.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's how it goes. Alicent speaks with Rhaenyra. She just has one request, that Otto's bones be sent back to Old Town to lie with her mother's. Rhaenyra, of course, is going to say yes, which, like, I don't think that that's out of character, and I think other monarchs would as well. Cersei sent Ned's bones to Catelyn and Robb. Like, Tyrion was sort of the main string puller on that, but Cersei was cool with it too. This is not like a out of character thing for any monarch, really.
Yeah, that's not a Rhaenyra Part 3 move.
No. But this is. She asks Alicent about what it's like to rule. Alicent gives her some advice, but Rhaenyra is pretty flippant about it. She's like, I dispute that I have to be like that, because Alicent essentially said, you're going to disappoint people, you might have to kill people, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Alicent says you might have to become something that you're not. As you're seeing all these people and hearing about all these problems, you can't fix every single one of them. So you sometimes have to detach yourself is essentially the point that she was trying to make.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra refuted that. And, I mean, again, add it to the list of blunders. Like, someone who's been there and experienced all these things that you're experiencing now is literally telling you what you have to do. And you're saying, no, I don't have to do it that way.
It's so funny, too. She's having, like, the worst day of her life. And she's like, no, that's not it. Having your worst day ever, ask for advice, and you're like, no. Second thought, I don't like you. Rhaenyra has dinner with the wealthy. Here we are. We've made it. This is when she serves up a nummy little feast of rats. And essentially, because what we've been learning throughout this episode is that when the blockade started, the wealthy essentially hoarded all of the goods because they were afraid of starving.
Which happens. I mean, that's like, if you have access to the goods, that's part of your, mercantile kingdom or whatever, like, yeah, you're probably going to hold those back a little bit. So Rhaenyra obviously doesn't like that. And I think she should have played the card a little bit more of the fact that a lot of them were Green loyalists.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you could have just said, yeah, you don't deserve this stuff because you were treasonous to my claim, so I'm taking it. But instead, she plays the card of, I'm supporting the small folk, these are my sheep that I'm shepherding, so I'm taking all these, taking all of your stores and then giving it to them. She serves the noble houses literally a plate of rats.
Literally, eat them.
Yeah.
She should have been like, take a bite. Everyone take a bite. Mm-hmm. And one guy's like, these aren't half bad.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what were your thoughts on that strategy there?
Dude, Burr Rhaenyra Sanders. She's redistributing the wealth of King's Landing. She's splitting everything up. She's going after the top 1%. I think it's the spirit of it. I get it. I like it. And they do need the money, so she kind of had to do something. But Daemon even says to her, he's like, this will help a small amount of people for a small amount of time.
Yeah.
And you just made, not the great houses, but like that second tier pretty angry.
Yeah.
And she bumps into Torrhen Manderley on the way out.
Yeah.
And the Manderleys are a significant house in the north. They should have been way bigger in Game of Thrones. Complete ball drop that they were not. Because they also are fiercely loyal to House Stark. Like, the most loyal northern house to House Stark, and they're also wealthy as shit.
Yeah, the richest house in the north.
White Harbor is a city that they essentially built. They were in the Reach and fled for whatever reason, and the Starks took them in and let them be in part of the north. Long story short, he says to her, like, she's like, what? Why do you have a shitting grin on your face? She's like, do you like rats? And he's like, no, this was just a hand well played. He's like, I really respect you for doing this. But then he kind of leans in and goes, it might even help the small folk forget that they're starving because of your blockade in the first place. Mm-hmm. He's going to be someone to watch.
He's cheeky.
That's an actor, too. That's a guy, kind of like they got a guy for Ormond.
Yeah.
So he's going to be around.
Yeah. He's cheeky. And I don't know why he has a house in King's Landing or why he was at that feast, because White Harbor's pretty far from King's Landing, but I'm assuming it's something to do with mercantile trade. But I just kind of... We talk about the problems that Rhaenyra has faced since she's been on the throne, and one of them is the money situation. Now, if you take the same situation and you have all those noble lords and ladies right there, what you could do, again, play the card. You guys were just like flipping and just letting the rebellion happen. You guys were complicit in it. Mm-hmm. And what we need now for you to prove your loyalty is to provide tribute.
That's it. Yeah.
And so instead of playing this weird eat rats, fuck you, this is how it is,
Yeah.
you could have said, prove you're loyal to us now, give us money, X amount of money or gifts or whatever, and you solve a problem for a lot longer than what she did, and ultimately ending up creating more problems.
Yeah, and like Damon said, the small folk that she's helping it's very flippant. It's a short amount of time she'll be able to assist any small folk. They'll go back to starving, and they're going to look for a scapegoat to explain why they're starving. That's kind of the nature of things, but also there is, like you said, there's a better way to go about it. Mm-hmm. And I think that the good thing is that these are not like, poor writing decisions. I think we're starting to see the cracks in the armor a little bit of picture-perfect Rhaenyra. And like I said, that scene ends with Daemon speaking to Rhaenyra and saying that line, but Daemon even says to her, "You've come so far," and Daemon speaks of conquering the world.
Yeah,
he speaks of we have. He said Aegon the Conqueror conquered Westeros with 3. We have 6, and technically we have more than 6 because I think Joffrey has one that's like a little baby. But he says, "I don't see us as even world conquerors. I see us as gods." He has that true Targaryen belief, which is this is noted throughout the lore. Many Targaryens have felt that way.
Yeah, and that maybe does lean into some of his oversights in that Ormond conversation earlier. I feel like he's so confident and inflated in victory that he's got this godly feel to him. But Rhaenyra still doesn't know who she is. She still wants to be and relates to this kind of small folk, this kind of victim of circumstances. Viserys. Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes back to Viserys' raising of Rhaenyra. Yeah. And I had this in my notes to kind of talk about as we wrapped up the episode, but I think this is a good inflection point. Viserys did no favors to Rhaenyra by naming her heir and then not letting her participate in any of the small council meetings, any of the, petition hearings. She didn't let her experience ruling, and we're starting to see the cracks in the facade that come with that.
100%.
Because she has no idea. The first time she hears petitions is when she's sitting the Iron Throne and she tries to help all these small folks. That happens on a daily basis.
He fucked up on multiple fronts with that. Mm-hmm. Not only just giving her the taste of ruling, but even listen, when he was getting real crispy at the end, he knew it was going to probably be time soon. He should have done one last public affirmation. I know he did that with her sons as Valerians, but he really should have had the wherewithal to do it with Rhaenyra in front of gods and men, in front of a host of people. Yeah. But also just not teaching her how to rule. And she even mentions Viserys in that scene with Daemon where he's like, no, the dragons, we're not gods. In a sense, the dragons are. And we can't control them. And then Daemon's like, your dad was a bitch.
Daemon's like, I loved him, but
the dude was a bit. Yeah. He didn't have it. Rhaenyra visits Daeron. And then her and Mysaria, she just watches Daeron sleep. Yeah. Weird. But then her and Mysaria, you're right, this is when they give the small folk the food.
Yes, and Rhaenyra, it was a great scene for Rhaenyra. I mean, they were super pumped about it, as they predictably would be. And
it's rats. She's fucking handing out rats.
And, she makes this big speech, and everyone's all pumped up, and it seems like, a great moment on the surface for Rhaenyra, but deep down, those words that Daemon said are ringing, in the viewer's ears of this is just a Band-Aid. This is a temporary fix to a bigger problem. And one thing that I thought Rhaenyra could have used this platform for is giving some sort of call to action.
Oh, I thought you were going to say data centers.
Quantum science.
She's like, we need water for these data centers. Go ahead.
But using the platform to do some sort of call to action, right? You have all this favor. You've got the populace on your side at this point. Leverage that to help your cause. Hey, bring green loyalists to me, or first person who brings word of Aemon and Vhagar's whereabouts gets X or whatever. Yeah. You have all this attention, you have the popularity, you have to leverage that, and she doesn't, and what she ends up with is all of a sudden you give someone an awesome gift and they just are going to expect that. There's no reciprocity. And again, another blunder on Rhaenyra's part.
Yeah, not to be that guy and to take this side, but you give a man a fish, he's gonna have that one fish. But if you teach a man to fish, That's a skill. It's a trade.
Yes. Correct.
But also, I believe that the small folk of King's Landing should just pick themselves up by their bootstraps.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they still got to pay their taxes.
They got like Westerosi LinkedIn. I'm sure there's ways that they could do the easy apply on Westerosi LinkedIn. I'm sure there's Nita Smiths. Yeah, Indeed.com, Indubitably.com. And just they got to figure it out. They can't rely on the Queen to give them the Queen has to give them everything. Chris, what's next? Dragons for everybody? God. Corlys and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's like walking away from Corlys, and Corlys is kind of like, "Hey, quick powwow! I'm your hand. I'm the hand of the Queen. Let's not forget." Corlys is hand of the Queen. Does anyone know that? Has anyone seen Rhaenyra and Corlys ever have like a real conversation about anything? He's hand of the Queen. He walks up to her and he says, about that legitimizing of my sons. And Rhaenyra's like, "Listen, I can't do this right now. I'm trying to uphold a new image." She's trying to change the system. And she's like, if I legitimize your sons, then it throws into even more question my sons for some reason. She makes a 2 + 2 = 6 type thing. Yeah. And then Corlys gets so pissed. And he's like, why? He's like, when your kids' shit came under dispute, I stood by you. Yep. He's like, why are your bastards? And he says that her kids are bastards, and it stings, and it's crazy to hear. But I think he's saying like, I know my kids are bastards too. They're all bastards. Yeah. But who cares? We run the show, lady.
Yes. Yeah. And the irony is that his brother was killed for calling Rhaenyra's sons bastards. And he still stood by Rhaenyra's side. His wife was killed defending Rhaenyra. His children were killed defending Rhaenyra.
Yeah. His boats were just killed in the gullet.
His boats were just destroyed. His castle burned to the ground. And Rhaenyra is just obsessed with her own image that she doesn't even know what she wants it to be. And
take, but it's never give.
Yeah. And again, like, her attention is with the small folk, which it shouldn't be. You're not going to keep yourself on the throne with the support of the small folk.
Right. And the Sims are not crazy, cruel people. Again, this is in the world of Westeros.
Yes, I mean, speak for yourself. But
Otto Sims Tower.
I mean, like, a Corlys Valerian's going to give you 1,000,000 times more security than 100,000 people on Visenya's Hill.
100%. Corlys literally just won the bloodiest battle in history for you. Jace died. We get it. But that was a one battle. You are sitting on the throne. Corlys has been nothing but an ally for you, and he shouldn't have been for a long time. And he has helped you out. Like, most of your foot soldiers are probably Valerian at this point. The Starks are still nowhere to be seen. You got Riverlords, sure, but it's just like they took a crazy amount of convincing from Daemon, who at the time was microdosing LSD in Harrenhal. And Corlys has been stone cold sober. He's provided everything, and all he asks in return is that you call his sons Valerian, and you're like, I'm going to punt on that? That's a terrible decision.
Crazy.
Terrible. And now, again, we talked about looking ahead into the future episodes, and we talked about when we broke down the trailers, Corlys taking shots at Rhaenyra in the trailers. Well, I think this is probably the beginning. He's a proud man, and all these fucking rulers of Westeros ever have done, from her grandfather Jaehaerys, or I guess great-grandfather Jaehaerys, to her father Viserys, and now her, is spurn him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
he's
crazy
a self-made millionaire.
Yeah, and he's the second, well, maybe not anymore, that his fleet's gone, but he's the second most powerful leader of a house in the Seven Kingdoms, and this is what you do. Yeah. Awful decision-making. But again, you made the point earlier, it's beyond... This is intentionally written like this. Like, this isn't Rhaenyra just kind of forgot that she was supposed to name, Valerians. Like, this is Rhaenyra making awful decisions, and the consequences are going to be dire.
Yeah, no, we'll get into that more. But Alicent from there learns of Daeron. Rhaenyra tells her that we have Daeron. He's been in the house for 2 days. And Alicent's like, kind of sad because she finds out Daeron's going to be sent to the wall, which is a mercy. Like, she's not taking his head, which by all rights she should. But at the same time, the wall is not a pleasant place.
Yeah, I was actually shocked at Alicent's response to that, but I think the next scene with them is a little more telling.
Yeah, well, Allison says, "Can I please at least see him?" And Rhaenyra goes, "Of course, I would do anything for you, Allison." She doesn't say that, but it's true. She would. She brings in Daron, and like Rhaenyra has a big smile on her face. She's like, "Look at the Lord reunion, isn't this cute?" And then she's like looking between the two of them because Allison does the same face she did in episode 1 when Aemon kissed her. She's like, I don't know this. I don't know who this motherfucker is. And Rhaenyra realizes she has been played a fool. She was given a fake Daron.
A Pharaon, if you will.
A Pharaon. Fake Daron, bleach blonde hair, like Stan from the
Yeah.
Eminem music video.
Pharaon, whatever you want to call him. Alicent should have played into this a little bit more. Because obviously Ormond has something up his sleeve in the
Yeah.
Hightower's favor, and Alicent just gives it away right away and is like, no, that's not him.
Maybe she thought Rhaenyra was fucking with her. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe she was... But she didn't say anything outright, but her face was just like it was obvious. Like,
Well,
it was
she did.
so
She
obvious.
did shake her head too when Rhaenyra,
She did once she asked for confirmation.
Uh-huh.
The kid then, and this is where we see the ruthlessness of Ormond. Rhaenyra confronts fake Daron. She's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Ormond said he would hang my mother." So we're seeing Ormond is a ruthless person, probably as cunning and schemy as Otto, but I think has a bit more of an edge than Otto by threatening some lowborn kid from the Reach's mother, or you have to fake to be Daron. Yeah.
Farron. Yeah.
Yeah, that kid sucked. I wonder what they do. I assume he's not in the rest of the show, but Rhaenyra just like fucking sends him to the wall anyway. That kid's going to the Night's Watch.
I thought she was gonna be like kill him at that point, but
I know.
I thought she was finally gonna turn evil Rhaenyra.
Dark Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
From there, she goes outside because they're gonna burn all the Hightower stuff, and there's a dragon seed who escaped Tumbleton. Turns out Ormond didn't take his host and go home like Daemon asked him. Instead, Ormond went to a town called Tumbleton, which was very loyal to Rhaenyra, and has taken up shop there.
Yeah, Tumbleton's not too far from King's Landing, just probably a few miles to the west,
Yep.
toward the Reach, and
They have
yeah,
Tessarion.
the Dragon Keeper was there keeping Tessarion, and I guess he was loyal to the Blacks, but he was the Dragon Keeper for Tessarion with the Greens, so I don't really know how that angle plays out, but anyways, he gets there, delivers that message, and I think this is the beginning of the end for the Black's cause. And I say that because we watched a whole 60 minutes of blunders from Rhaenyra and her, what court that she has, if you want to call it that. And now we're going to see that lead directly to violence. And the consequences, I think, are going to be dire for the Black side.
Agreed. Two quick notes I want to make. One, in the scene when Hugh Hammer talks to Rhaenyra about a house, he lets her know that his wife is no longer in King's Landing. She lives in Tumbleton with her brother. That's important to note. Two, Ormond knows that Tumbleton was loyal to the Blacks, and that's why he's staying there. He is daring Rhaenyra to attack because of how many innocent lives will be lost that were loyal to her. Because he's like, okay. And again, like Chris said, it is strategically right outside of King's Landing. It's not White Harbor in terms of the size of the city, but it's a sizable city. It's not like it's a small, it's not like it's just a castle in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It is a town of people, and he is just saying to Rhaenyra, you want to burn it, go ahead, we're here. But so are all of your loyal subjects. That word will spread like wildfire.
Yeah. Great chess move by Ormond.
Yeah, we're seeing that he is cunning, and he has real Daron, he has Tessarion, he has a dragon, and the episode ends with Rhaenyra staring into the flames of Hightower sigilry, maybe acknowledging that I'm going to have to burn some of them.
Yeah, I also kind of got like, they mentioned Sunfire was dead and dying, or dead and...
Oh yeah, Bela saw Sunfire's corpse, she said, from overhead.
Dead and decaying is what they said, and I kind of like shook my head a little bit at that scene, but then at the end there with the gold dragon burning, I was kind of like, oh, maybe they're playing on like the gold dragon still being alive, flaming,
On the look ahead to next week's episode, Larys and Aegon do make it to Rook's Rest, which is where that whole situation happened with Rhaenys and Aegon and Sunfire and Aemon burning everybody. So we'll see. We'll learn from there. That was House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 3, Rhaenyra Triumphant. You had something you wanted to say? You want to get into the ratings? You want to have a little open forum discussion?
Yeah, I mean, just in conclusion here, what I saw throughout this episode is just Rhaenyra's ghost of her past continue to haunt her. I think from the moment she entered the Red Keep, we saw all these themes of her history and harkening back to season 1. And, we talked about it a little bit. Viserys did her no favors by naming her heir and then not preparing her to rule a kingdom. And we see that she never became an independent person. She was at the whims of all these other lords and ladies growing up her whole life. The one identity she did have was a mother, and that has been proving to hurt her more often than it has been to help her.
Yeah.
With the death of, 2 of her closest kids, and even, stillbirths and everything like that. So I think all these things that we've seen materialize through seasons 1 and season 2 have shown up in this episode of, like, it's not all... Rhaenyra won won the Iron Throne, technically, but it's far from over. And she has no idea how to keep it. She doesn't have the right people surrounding her who know how to keep it. Maybe the one you could say is Corlys Velaryon, but she's isolating herself from him.
Makes no sense.
I think it's just like she's choosing the small folk. I think she relates to them in a way that's almost, again, a victim of circumstances sort of feel.
Yeah, she's a prisoner of the moment, too.
100%.
People are complaining, and she's like, oh, you're right, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, keeping Corlys happy is a way bigger deal.
And I think in a way she's having an identity crisis.
Yeah.
She's trying to figure out who her independent self is while also trying to rule a kingdom, and that is a toxic mix.
The most important things for her, and a couple of things you said I want to get into, but I'm going to say this to start. The most important thing for her right now, top 3, kill Vhagar. I don't even care where where Aemond is or not. You find fucking Vhagar and you kill Vhagar.
Yeah.
Even before you kill 2, find Aegon, right? And then 3, maybe you show Alicent Daeron right away. Maybe you do one thing to anybody in the Red Keep who maybe would have met the kid. I don't know. Confirm that it's Daeron. Those are the 3 guys who can still take your throne. I don't even have keep Corlys happy on the list because you should just be doing that regardless. That shouldn't even be. You shouldn't even have to have a note on your phone as a reminder to keep Corlys happy. That should be who you are as a person. In your heart and soul, you should keep Corlys happy. But something you said about her love for her children is something that has been very well written throughout both Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. How George R. R. Martin feels about, Maester Aemon to Jon Snow, love is the death of duty, right? Or Larys Strong, which in his autograph that he wrote for me, love is a downfall. He says that in season 1 when he's talking to Alicent while there's that montage of him killing his own family for Alicent. Because love can be, when you love something so much, it can get in the way of your terrible aspirations, which all of these people have in this show, which is why it's so powerful. But Rhaenyra being so obsessed with the small folk, in a time of peace, do it.
Yeah.
But guess what? Little Aegon Targaryen from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms rules over a time of peace. And he emphasizes the small folk. And because of it, all the great houses and all the noble lords fucking despise him. Hate him. To the point where when he finally passes his throne on to his next of kin, people celebrate it. Because they're like, thank God that old fuck isn't, that's just how it goes. And, it's ruthless.
I think it all kind of circles back, to she has no idea of how to handle these situations, so she needs the right people in place to help.
Yeah, she should ask the hand of the queen.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who should she be asking?
100%.
She should probably ask Corlys. Corlys, what would you do if you were me? He's like, legitimize my kids.
And I guess in recap here, because I think it's important that we call out all the blunders that happened here.
Do it.
So that it's clear when the blacks start kind of falling out of favor, which I think we're getting a taste of that now.
Yeah. At least with each other. They're starting to fall out of favor with each other. And then next episode, the small folk will be like, more fish?
Yeah. The Band-Aid of the small folk. I mean, they're falling out of favor with the noble houses too, right?
Right.
So number 1, Daemon gets a fake Darren. He gets a Farron. Should have known because the whole dragon situation, just kind of forgot about the dragon. Number 2, the Septon denying Rhaenyra's anointment. That should not, you gotta flex your muscles on that little guy.
You give him a little spanking.
Show him his boss.
Yeah.
Number 3, and this is a smaller one, but I think I still stand by this. You gotta leverage that popularity with the small folk while you have it. Make that gift mean something.
Yeah.
Put them to work. Make them some sort of reciprocal.
Like a call to action.
Yeah, a call to action.
You book time on my calendar.
What am I at? Number 5? Number 5. Not naming Adam and Alan Valerians. Like, that's such an easy move. To your point, keep Corlys happy. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Number 6. Putting off Hugh Hammer's home.
Keep him happy.
All he wanted to do, the guy's got the second biggest dragon in all of Westeros. All he wants is a little house for him and his wife and his family, and you can't even do that.
Yeah, maybe keep him and his wife in King's Landing, and she doesn't have to flee to Tumbleton.
There you go. I think that was all. Did you have any? Did I miss any?
I'm trying to think, because I did have a lot of things where I was like, ooh, Rhaenyra, I don't like how you handled that. I think the fake Daeron situation with Alicent, I think she needs to be stricter with Alicent and Helena.
Yeah.
Keep them in their quarters. Don't talk to them all the time. Don't make this be a thing. Don't hallucinate Jace. I wouldn't do that if I was her. I'd stop that. I'd nip that in the bud. I think the treatment of the dragon seeds in general. I think the knighting of them was very disrespectful. There's people moving high tower shit in the background while they're kneeling to the point where Ulf goes, "Was that it?"
Yes.
You handed them nukes, and then you're like, "All right, assholes."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things. Corlys being the top, I think. Threatening, the second level of rich houses is interesting as well.
And just like accepting the fact that you're out of gold and not really. I feel like there's some action items that you could do at that point in time to get gold. Like I mentioned during the rat feast, demanding a tribute instead of serving them rats. Cleaning up the triarchy that's still out there, disrupting your trade routes.
That's right. There's still triarchy that made it ashore.
Yes. And they're ravaging trade routes. So it's like, clean that up.
You'd win so much goodwill.
Yeah, you win goodwill. You get some more trade going to King's Landing. And also, letting off the high towers. Like, I understand the clemency thing and you're trying to inspire loyalty. Mm-hmm. There has to be some sort of, like, war indemnity or some sort of reparations or something. Like, your coffers are dry and you're not demanding anything from one of the richest families in the Seven Kingdoms. And also, the Lannisters are without a head right now. So why aren't we taking a dragon to freaking Lannisport and demanding
the new lord? Who's the lord? Yeah,
yeah,
you're ours now.
Yeah,
100%. That's a great idea.
So there's stuff there's gold accessible throughout the Seven Kingdoms, and they're just sitting there accepting the fact that they don't have gold. I think that's again showing how poorly that they run the Seven Kingdoms.
That's a really good point. One thing we didn't mention is Rhaenyra does say to Daemon, you're going to be going to the Reach because Lady Jane has not given us the sword she promised, so you're going to demand money from her. And, of course, Sheepstealer and Rhaena are there. It's going to be awkward because Daemon, that's his daughter. I wonder, so that'll be something to look for. But also, Daemon goes, that's something I look forward to doing. They're going to make it awkward because he's definitely going to find Rhaena and Sheepstealer. But also, like, Daemon is the worst person to send to the Vale. He killed his first wife, who was like a jewel of the Vale. Obviously, she lived in Runestone.
Runestone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And everyone loved her. And I'm pretty sure it's one of those things that they still remember. They're not going to be like, "Oh, Daemon's here, everybody. Daemon's here." Look who it is.
Yeah. I don't think Rhaenyra knew that Daemon killed her, though, right?
No, but Daemon was really excited. He said, "He's like, it's something I will relish to do." He said, "What a piece of shit, dude." Rating, Chris. I'll go first because I think yours is probably more favorable. I gave it a 7.2. Okay. I liked it. I actually had it at a 6.5 yesterday. I rewatched it this morning and liked it more. I was a prisoner of the moment. I like the bang bangs. This episode didn't have bang bangs. On rewatch, I was like, this is just really good television. This is really well written. Rhaenyra, it all comes back to me for Emma D'Arcy as the anchor of this show, and their acting is insanely good. Everyone on the show does a really good job, but seeing the politics actually was cool because Game of Thrones, whenever it would dip into it, was awesome.
Yes. Look, I respect that rating. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, I'm sure. I gave this episode a 9.
It's all right.
I loved this episode.
No shake curve.
No shake curve. I thought it was so meaningful. Like, to me, the dialogue and the writing on this episode was the best that it's been throughout this entire series. And the actions that were taken in seasons 1 and 2 are starting to show up as consequences in this episode, and things actually are meaningful versus, someone tripping balls at Harrenhal,
right,
or time jumps and things like this. To me, like everything that we saw in the past is starting to materialize, and I thought it was really well played. And I think this was my favorite episode, definitely of this season. And look at where we are. I mean, if you're listening to this, we are maybe 45 to 50 minutes into this episode, and the conversation
has been flowing.
The conversation's been flowing because there's so much to talk about, and it's not just like, oh, here's a ship blowing up, or here's a harpoon hitting a dragon directly for the second time in a row. Like this is. Again, actions that are showing consequences, and I think in writing or any sort of television that I'm viewing, that's what I'm looking for is things that leads to B, leads to C in a meaningful way, and I think that's what we saw in this episode.
Leads to D's nuts. Come on, we got him. I will say too, I think this has been the strongest 3-episode stretch of any part of House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. I'm not going to say
100%.
Game of Thrones or Night of Seven. We're not going to go there.
Agreed.
House of the Dragon, which makes me nervous. The critics loved the first 4 episodes. The critics only got the first 4 episodes, so we have no clue how this season ends. Probably Alicent and Rhaenyra run away together to Essos and sell oranges, and then Kristen Cole's like, "What the fuck? That's what I said we could do." 7.2 and a 9. A 9 is high, but you're allowed to do that. We're allowed to take chances. That's what makes the Deep Thrones podcast the most entertaining podcast in the world of Ice and Fire.
Season 2 of Game of Thrones was great because of the action at court in King's Landing.
Politicking.
The politicking, the behind the back stabbing, the dialogue, all of it meant something, and I got a taste of that in this episode.
100%. And you get the Blackwater at the end of that season, and even then, you could tell it was pretty rough. Their budget was pretty light. It's pretty raw, the Battle of the Blackwater. It's all about Tyrion playing the game that we love, Best line, Yas Queen. I'll go first. Best line, Daemon to Rhaenyra. He's a claimant to the throne. You're going to have to kill him. Talking about Daeron. That's not yours?
No.
This is the first time in the 3 episodes we've done the same one. Wow.
Well, when you said Daemon to Rhaenyra, I'm like, are we going to do this again?
Are we really doing this right now? And then my Yas Queen, Alicent says to Rhaenyra, because they're talking about how they have to stay prisoners until Aemond is dead. She's like, oh, so my salvation comes. I have to root for my son's death. And Rhaenyra goes, oh, I can only imagine.
That was good.
Because 2 of her sons have died because of Alicent's side.
Mm-hmm. Mine was also Daemon to Rhaenyra, but this conversation was when he was talking about the gods, and he says, I style us gods as we were always meant to be.
Cocky.
Cocky Targaryen.
I'm pretty sure God
right
would
there.
be able to tell who fake Darren is.
Fair. And then my Yas Queen was also from Daemon to Rhaenyra, but this one was very funny. He's like walking away, and he just slides in. You still have to kill Daemon, like it's a list on the chore. Like it's a chore on the list of things.
Yeah. You still have to kill Daeron. Hey, by the way, don't forget to kill Daeron.
Yeah.
I'll get to it. God. Hottest moment for me was Corlys telling Rhaenyra the truth.
Yeah.
That's my hottest moment. That's hottest moment.
That was a strong one.
Because you know what? He deserves to be angry. His anger for me was not out of left field. I'm like, yeah, they are bastards.
Yeah.
All the little bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Joffrey's a bastard. Oh, she mentioned Joffrey.
Yeah.
We got a Joffrey.
My hottest moment was the rat feast. And, it was a cool scene. We had our gripes with the whole purpose behind it, but it was cool to see Rhaenyra kind of flex her strength.
Our gripes isn't that it's in the show. Our gripes is that the character we think is making a mistake. Not that we're mad that the character made a mistake. I want my characters to make mistakes. We're just criticizing her for doing it, which is what this podcast is all about. Mm-hmm. Mount Rushmore. This is a fun one.
Mount Rushmore. Topical. So we decided, in honor of the FIFA World Cup, to do a World Cup of Westerosi houses. So essentially, if the Westerosi houses were to form football teams or soccer teams, which ones would we select?
Yeah, and should we maybe also not just Westerosi houses, but just organizations in general? Maybe include Essos stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah. We can do the world of.
Yeah, there's 7 regions, and if we're doing a Rushmore,
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Good call.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cool. You want to go first? You go first. You do the first.
You want me to go first?
You do the first.
All right. I pick House Valerian.
That's a good one. Any ideas what positions they'd play? Where they?
I mean,
or I guess they'd be
they'd be all of them.
all over.
But they seem pretty athletic, so
yeah. I would personally not gonna touch that one, sir. Come on. I'm gonna do the Night's Watch.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I feel like when I view the Night's Watch too, I feel like you got a lot of defenders there. A lot of guys who know how to protect the hole.
Yeah, they're parking the bus and they're not moving.
Dude, Gren specifically, hold the gate kind of thing.
Yeah.
They know you're right. They are parking. Here's the line.
Yes.
I think the wall is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but they're still there, and it's important. So they're tending to the wall.
Okay, I like that.
Do they have to water the wall? They just have to keep it cold. I guess it's always cold.
Well, it's
there,
always cold up there.
I know, but you just gotta keep it.
If you water it, it gets very slippery.
It's true, dude. That'd be funny. You think they ever do that? They ever grease it up? You think they ever grease it up? You think that Mario level with the penguins?
Oh my god.
No?
Yeah, probably not.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I guess unless maybe if wildlings get up there, that'd be a good defensive.
dude. They
mechanism.
Home Alone the wall.
Yeah.
It's on the paint gets all slippery.
Okay, my
Two.
next pick's gonna be the White Walkers.
Wow.
Super athletic. I mean, javelin throwers, Olympic teams, they're
Stopping them from scoring would be difficult.
yes, unless you had a wall.
That's true. That's true. My second pick was the Dothraki.
Ooh, that's a great pick.
I think they would be super intimidating.
Yeah.
The Dothraki Screamers, I know it's not necessarily soccer, but you think of the All Blacks with New Zealand and the dance that beforehand, it's intimidating. There's an intimidation factor to them screaming while playing soccer. But soccer, dude, oh my God, can you imagine the extra time you've been screaming for 90 plus minutes? That actually might be counterintuitive. They might get tired
They
quickly.
might get more tired.
Yeah.
Hopefully they allot for more subs.
Yeah.
My third pick's going to be House Martell.
Yeah. That's really good.
Super athletic for sure.
Shoot, I like House Martell. Mine is a stretch.
Okay.
But hear me out. I'm going with House Strong. And
Yeah.
he's not very agile, but Laris is a striker.
Clubfoot.
He gets that boot on that ball, dude. His thing's going 110 miles an hour.
Okay. And he's sneaky too. He'd probably
Oh, dude.
poison the other team's Gatorade and
Just
stuff.
Baelish. That's my draft. Is just Baelish because he's so slick.
Okay, my final pick's going to be House Lannister, and it's because they could afford to buy the best team and field them.
That's a great point. And is soccer like hockey, where it's kind of a rich man's game, where you got to have money to play it, or not really?
Oh no, you need a ball and nets. It's the poor man's game. That's why every country soccer is like the world sport.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And but in the Premier Leagues and stuff, rich guys buy you
yeah.
pay those fees to even talk to a player, and then you could send him hundreds of millions. He just comes play for your team.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
The clubs. There's actually this app where you can view the World Cup teams, and you can view how much their salaries are for their clubs. So it's really cool when a Cape Verde plays a Spain, and it's
through the roof.
$900 million total salary for Spain, and then $80 million for Cape Verde.
My fourth pick is gonna be House Bolton.
Okay.
Listen, I think that they're slippery. I think I like the intimidation factor. I like guys that can be a little scary out there, but guys who always think they deserve more. They're always hungry. You know what I mean? They're never happy in second place. They want the top spot.
They sure do.
So,
But they're not that athletic, though. I think
they're not. I don't really associate Ramsey with athleticism, but maybe with just a bit of a can-do spirit.
Some more training.
Next segment, fan favorite. You blew it.
You blew it.
You blew it. I'll go first.
Okay.
It's an easy one. Fake Daron.
Farron, yeah.
Farron, you could just pretend, just hold the line a little. I guess really Allison sold it.
Allison.
Yeah, and then the kid started absolutely running his mouth about Ormond. Again, my you blew it last week was the Greens at King's Landing because they failed me. And again, it's another Green at King's Landing. So, Fake Daron.
You blew it.
You blew it.
You blew it, buddy. We don't love you, but you still blew it.
This wasn't over Zoom, so I could have just played the soundbite, I realized. Doesn't
that's
matter.
true.
I'll edit it in.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah,
It's probably
it is
better.
better. It is
Yeah.
better. It sounds way better.
Technology. So my you blew it is Rhaenyra, my queen.
Ooh.
I do love you. I really do. But we listed all the blunders that you did this episode, and you blew it.
You blew it.
You blew it. It's a House of Cards, Rhaenyra, all right? And they're starting to wobble. Crown their ass. Not a fan favorite segment. I don't think it ranks, but we're getting it there. We're trying to build it up. Crown their ass is the MVP of the episode. For me, He had a very short amount of time in the episode, but I'm very excited about this character, and I liked his little introduction into the Game of Thrones by pulling a fast one on Team Blacks and then taking Tumbleton in the process, Ormond Hightower. Whatever that thing he was sniffing in episode 1, it's the good juice because it's getting him going.
He's good. He's good. My crown their ass MVP of the episode, the small folk of King's Landing.
Wow.
They had a great episode. They got most of what they wanted, at least for a short period of time.
What a come up.
Played Rhaenyra like a fiddle.
Dude.
They killed it.
They did. Wow. And it fits. You blew it and you crowned the ass. It really goes together. Chris, strategy with Lord Mims. Rhaenyra, we talked about it ad nauseum, but just hammer it home. Her tax policy. Rhaenyra's economic policy.
There is no Rhaenyra economic policy. I mean, she's just, hey, I'm going to steal from the rich people for like one time and then give something that'll last a few days to the small folk. Some of the small folk, not even all of them in King's Landing. Terrible economic policy. We talked about it already. Throw it in the garbage. Rhaenyra, you screwed up. This is part of you blowing it. This is part of you blowing it.
This really, I mean, it really goes together. I think that it's going to make things easier for Ormond to sow those seeds of dissent because the Greens are going to be playing sabotage and espionage within King's Landing. And when you create an atmosphere where people already dislike you and mistrust you, those seeds are much easier to sow.
She doesn't even have, we didn't even talk about this, she doesn't even have a Queen's Guard.
I know, she has no guard. It's just Luther Largent who's like...
And he's like, I need to get back to my job.
He's like, I got a day job.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta get out of here. Mm-hmm. He's like, I gotta... My wife is at home, I got kids. This trial by combat is a big one.
Okay.
This was the one where, listen, I have been scouring Reddit, which is my own fault. I shouldn't be on Reddit. But my God, the
Reddit's fun.
It is. But you're a book purist. And there's no denying that House of the Dragon it's its own canon at this point. Your brain, though, works fully. And you're able to acknowledge that and to say that's okay. The internet's, folks, luckily there are a lot of show people rocking back on those Reddit people and just saying, like, listen, it's fun as fuck. Like, you can say what you can see, show all the flaws, but it's fun. This week's Trial by Combat is a new talk show that I'm starring in called John Sheedy Complains About Complaining. Okay. And here's a little taste of it, all right? I wrote so much of this just in an angry fury a few nights ago. For 3 episodes, we've watched, my God, and like, yes, there's things that are way over the top, but everything is over the top all the time. All right? Like, some of the best shows on television take liberties. People get mad at House of the Dragon, a show about fucking dragons, because something happens that's a little unrealistic. Well, listen to this. How about, this is me complaining about complaining. How about Breaking Bad, one of the greatest shows of all time? Mm-hmm. Would you not deny that?
Oh, 100%.
Season 2, Walter White watches Jane die. Does nothing to help her. Jane's father, who is an air traffic control man, gets so depressed that he fucks up at his job, and 2 planes collide into each other right above Walter White's house. And like teddy bears are falling, and Walt feels guilty, and Walt even hits the to the point where Breaking Bad fans wish that episode didn't happen. Because the odds of that happening are probably less than Lohar, who I assume has harpooned some shit, one piece in a dragon. From there, The Sopranos, first episode of what many people consider to be the greatest show of all time. Tony Soprano drives on the sidewalk in like an office, you know, it's like all office buildings, and all these people on suits are like dodging his car, and he gets out of his car and starts beating the fuck out of this guy after hitting him. That is a bit of a stretch. How about season 4 of The Sopranos when he takes Meadow to college in Maine and he bumps into, does he do research? No, he bumps into. Does he have a snitch? No, he bumps into a man in witness protection who snitched on him. He bumps into him. And the only difference is that show doesn't have fucking dragons in it. So yes, things happen that are over the top. But guess what? In show canon, when the Night's Watch fights the wildlings, they hit the giants with scorpions from the wall. Euron is great with the scorpions except against Drogon. Bronn hits Drogon with a fucking scorpion in season 7. I think in canon of Game of Thrones, the scorpions might be good. And also book people, let's go at you for a second. Let's talk about George R.R. Martin's immaculate, infallible writing. How many fucking times does Arya just bump into people on the road that furthers her story. Polliver with Needle just bumps into him. What are the odds of that happening? What are the odds? How about when Jon Snow goes north of the wall? In the show, it's a little different, but in the books, it's what's the fucking redhead's name who hates him on the wall? Alistair Thorne.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Go north and talk with Mance Rayder after the big battle on the wall, so they realize they can't defeat the wildlings." And Jon says, I gotta kill Mance Rayder. It's the only way." And Jon is sitting in that tent, making that decision to kill Mance Rayder. He's so nervous, and we as readers, as soon as he kills Mance Rayder, the wildlings are going to torture him brutally. We're going to have to read that for 3 to 4 pages, but guess what? Right as Jon is about to grab that knife and plunge it into Mance Rayder's neck, Stannis Baratheon shows up. Just appears out of nowhere. So, yes, I get it. When things are over the top, it's annoying. It maybe ruins the product a little bit. But there is not a show, there is not a movie. The Dark Knight Rises is my favorite movie of all time. It's a fucking mess. It is a mess. You just got to enjoy it a little bit, book guys. Just enjoy it. Just let things happen, okay? So this is my new show, John Sheedy Complains About Complainers, coming this fall.
I honestly think we should just rebrand the pod into John Sheedy Complains About Complainers.
Well, everything. The Godfather. Greatest movie of all time. Every single hit they do in that works to perfection, and quite a few of the hits, not all of them, have multiple witnesses. The Sopranos, I actually even was looking for more. I was like talking to ChatGPT. I was like, what else happens in The Sopranos? And they're like, the last 2.5 seasons, Tony is so brazen with crimes. They're like, it's almost beyond where you're like, he outruns the FBI in snow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He gabagools his way to freedom. Just rolling
like the footprints. You can just follow the snow footprints.
Yeah, follow the fucking deli meats. There's cold cuts. Follow the cold cuts. So, yes, me and Chris have a podcast, so we always are going to acknowledge when the show goes over the top, like we did during the Battle of the Gullet. And guess what? We each gave it a high rating because we acknowledge that this is a show about dragons. And it's fun, and you're allowed to have fun. Even if your favorite writer's story is a little different. Now, again, they could totally drop the ball. I gave this a 4 last season for one of the episodes. I fully understand that could happen if the characters, Aemon kissing his mom, didn't make sense to us. That's a character fuck. That's weird. You're messing up the story that way is different than the sensationalism. That's it. I'm sorry. Let me breathe.
That was fantastic. Love that. Everything you said there, especially comparing some of the best pieces of art in television history and kind of poking the holes in it, but it turns out to be a fantastic piece of art because that's what art's not necessarily supposed to be perfect, right?
No, I love The Sopranos. I'm not ditching The Sopranos and Breaking Bad. I'm just saying, like, come on.
I think one major flaw in everything that the book purists talk about, and I love the books. I read the books first long before the show even was a thing. It was written in third person, a minimum of 25 to 50 years after the events that we're talking about in the Dance of Dragons. So, you're reading stuff from a jester who, his name's Mushroom. He's notoriously silly. He notoriously inflates situations or exaggerates situations. There's a maester that was writing from a second person of a maester that was supposed to be there, and somehow has access to all these conversations, which he probably didn't, was probably embellishing. And then just kind of a scribe almost. So it's just for you to stand on business and go 10 toes down talking about this is how things was in canon, but canon is written from a second or third hand perspective.
Right. It's passed down information.
So you should understand that obviously the stuff that you see on the show could be a little bit different because it is the first person perspective.
And if your issues are character issues, I will never argue with it. If you're like, listen, just flat out the book should have had Alicent be a hardliner, I agree.
Yeah.
Or the show should, as the books did, I agree. But if your issue is those weird little moments of coincidence or things like Daemon 100% should have verified fake Daeron, but I'm not going to destroy the show because that happened. You know what I mean? I'll take points off in my rating. I did. I gave it a 7.2, and many critics believe this to be the best episode of the 4 that they've seen. So what do I know? We're all just here winging it every day.
I didn't know that about the critics. That makes me sound pretty...
You do sound smart. You do. Every critic said episode 3 was there. I'm not even kidding. IGN gave it a 10. Collider gave it a 9. It's crazy. People love this fucking episode, man.
I am Collider.
You are. You've been writing for them for a while. All right. I mean, that's all I had.
I think that was a bang for the end of the episode.
It was a great end of the episode. Anything you want to add, Chris?
No, that's it. Go Team USA. I hope this ages well.
As well. I mean, we'll see. The usuals, like, share, subscribe. We don't need to say it anymore. You guys know what to do. Allison, hit me up. I can be your fake Daron.
Whips, check out the handle, switch, shoes on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Aria just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz.